So if you're watching this video, you probably want to know more about being a great sponsor for your downlines. And I'm going to be totally honest with you and tell you that I was not a good sponsor when I started out because I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what was expected of me. I signed up just a few weeks after my sponsor. I did not know her at all. I had no idea that she had only been doing this a few weeks. So I would like message her a question and she wouldn't know the answer because she hadn't run into that before. Nobody had asked her and she was literally 3 weeks old. So she would go out and try to find an answer. We'd try to find it together. And, over the course of time, built a relationship and figured some things out. But when I first started my business, I was not doing anything in particular for my downlines. Like I might get on the phone with them and tell them what I was doing and what seemed to be working for me. And I would, give them my distributor ID information and maybe help them with the launch party or show them how I did my launch party so they could do their own and give them a little guidance. And then they would do their own launch party. And then like, okay, I hope you do awesome. And they would answer, ask me a question and I would try to find it for them or point them back out to the answer and we'd love on them a little bit. But I had no systems in place. I mean, nothing. And I was basically just reacting to them when they needed me because I was kind of just starting out in my own business and I didn't know I was responsible for anything really. So if you're new at this, or even if you're old at this, I don't think you need to know everything to be a great sponsor. And the fact of the matter is, with our business expanding like it is, your sponsor may be brand new too. And her sponsor may be brand new too, and so may her sponsor, right? I mean, like, all the way up to your crown princess, you never know. These people could have signed up yesterday. So I think that it's great to have a great sponsor, like that's the icing on the cake, but it is not necessary to be successful. As a matter of fact, the people who are doing the best on my team are people who came in when I sucked and didn't know what I was doing and just like grabbed the bull by the horns and figured it out by themselves and, had that initiative and really got in there and dug into it and had the grit to get through that. And some of the things I even worry about now is like, maybe I do too much for girls. I do their, help them out a lot with their launch party. And I have a lot of these training videos and I do all this stuff. Like, am I spoon feeding them too much? And it creates a dependency there, that didn't happen earlier on when women were really just having to like figure it out. So that's what I have to say about having a great sponsor. But if you want to be a great sponsor, you don't have to know everything, but you do need to connect your people with training resources. You don't even need to personally train them. Like, if you don't know the answer to something, help them find it. Like, go out into the back office yourself, figure out where it is. You don't even have to give them the answer. You could just tell them where to go in back office to find it. Connect them with these training videos. If you found these training videos successful for you and informative, let them know where they are. Don't just send them off to try to figure it out by themselves. So connect them to training resources. And then the whole create leaders, not leaners. When they ask you a question, try not to just give them an answer. Try to point them to where the answer is. Sometimes they're like, oh my God, I'm at the zoo and somebody needs to know if blue red is a matte color and I just need help right now. And you're like, blue red's a matte color. Like, sometimes you could just like jump in there and give them some help. But when they're asking you things that they could pretty much easily look up in a lookbook or they can find in their back office resources, that's when I start really pointing them out. I'm like, hey girl, that's on page 8 of your lookbook. Let me know if you have trouble finding it. Because I can't do that for everybody. I have 1,000 people on my downlines. I have 32 people on my first line. So it's not like a thing you want to start up front where you're just feeding people the answers, or else they'll just keep coming back to you because it's way easier to ping you than it is to go find it for themselves. But once you start driving them out to those resources and they realize where they are and they start reading them, they have less questions. They're not going to ask you as many like gimme type questions. And the questions they do ask you are going to be of better quality. Contact me and ask about strategy any day of the week. Contact me and say, my Facebook party is doing poorly. What are some tips for me? Like, I will help you with strategy. I will help you brainstorm. I will pour love and encouragement into you, like talking to you like you're my first line, and even sometimes into my downlines when they don't have active people above them. But I want to have those conversations with my downlines. I don't want to be telling them how many glosses we have. And if we have glosses with shimmer in them, like, that's not my job. You need to understand the product you sell. You have a business now. So I think that that's important, and I hope that didn't sound too mean, but like, you own your own business. You need to be able to go out and find these things yourself. And if you want to be a great sponsor, you are not going to spoon feed all this stuff to your people because you're going to burn yourself out. You're going to retreat completely, And you're going to be halfway suicidal if you're building a big team and you're feeding them all information this way. So take as many opportunities as you can to pour in encouragement. So maybe they just contacted you from the zoo and they were like, this person is interested in blue red, but I need to know if it's a matte color or not. And you're like, hey, it's a matte, but oh my God, I'm so glad you're at the zoo today. Did you take a day off? I'm so happy for you. And like connect with them. And if they contact you at like 9 o'clock at night and they're asking a question and they're, you know, trying to get their VIP party together for the month, take an opportunity to ask about their family. Ask how their business is going. Ask how their sales are going. Ask how it's going with their downlines. Ask how their husband is. Ask what their kids are up to lately. Like, have a conversation and try to establish a relationship with people, because I think that what makes my team close with me is that I really want to connect with them on an interpersonal level. So exchanging information with them is part of the transaction, but really having a connection and encouraging them and pouring love into them and wishing them luck and telling them they're going to be awesome and all of those things are just as important as the information that you're transferring to them. And obviously, I can't have a 30-minute conversation with everybody who messages me with a question, but when I have that moment, when it's late at night, when I'm laying in the bed and I'm on my phone, I probably shouldn't do that, but they're in bed laying on their phone, that's when I have a moment to be like, girl, I see you, I love you, I'm so proud of you, I'm so excited for your future, keep your head down, I love how you handled this situation, and just pour that encouragement into them. So one of the things that I see kind of going wrong in the relationship between a sponsor and a downline is that a sponsor does not make you a manager and a downline does not make you an employee. Y'all are business owners. You are side by side. So every organization has a hierarchy, and we do run some things based on hierarchy. Like if you have a question, ask your sponsor. If she doesn't know, ask her sponsor. If she doesn't know, work your way up to your crown princess. Don't jump straight up to your crown princess, because I have 1,000 people in my organization. So we do have that structure for a reason, but we are partners. I'm not your manager. I'm not your mother. I'm not your boss. So I never want to see anybody in my downlines contacting their downlines and say, hey girl, you haven't placed an order this month. When are you placing your order? Excuse me? You don't know anything about my finances. You don't know anything about my business. You don't tell me when I need to order. I decide when I need to order. If you look at your downline and she's not ordering, that's when you contact them and you're like, hey girl, how's your business going? Have you had a party lately? Can I help you maybe set up a Facebook party? When's the last time you did a VIP? And it's not even go like that. It's like, hey girl, how's your business going? And they're like, I'm too busy. I cannot do this. I'm super overwhelmed. My kids are in a bunch of different sports. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad. I love that your kids are in sports. Holler at me if you ever want to kick your business back off again. I'd love to help you. I've got some Facebook resources in TinyTorch, and I can help you host a relaunch party. Let me know. I love you. I don't reach out to these girls and try to get them to order or do anything. If they say to me, gosh, it's not going really well right now, I really want this, but I feel like I'm failing. And then I'm like, hey, add me to your group if I'm not in it already. Let me go poke around. Let's brain some more ideas. When's the last time you had a VIP party? It's been a couple months. Well, hey, I did one last month. Why don't you go look at some of the posts that I made and videos that you did, and maybe we'll do something like that in yours. And then you just kind of help encourage them and pour some love and some ideas and some brainstorming into them. But I have been messaged a couple times by people and they're like, I just can't stand my upline. I cringe every time she messages me. She's always asking me when I'm going to order. And I'm like, oh. I would never, ever, ever ask anybody in my downline when they're going to order. If I'm concerned about their order activity, I'm going to ask them what I can do to help them if they want my help. They may not want my help. That's okay. I love you anyways. And if you want my love in the future, holler at your girl. I'm here for you. So you're not their manager. You are their business partner side by side, and they own their business just like you do. You own your business. They own their business. Support them and encourage them and help them when you're wanted. And do not beat them up. Do not harass them. I never ask girls when they're going to place their order. That's insane. Use Facebook message threads to communicate with your first line and try to, kind of keep that personal interaction. I have Kristen's main squeezes. They're all the girls that are on my first line. Some of my personal discount girls have left that group. I've given them the opportunity. Some girls interact in that group. I tell them, I'm like, look, if it's crazy, turn off the notifications for it. Check it when you can. I let them know, first of all, when hot products are in stock and they're available to order. I let them know of big things going on. I have incentives that are for my first line only that I communicate with them in that way. So I like doing that, and I encourage you not to create a team group too early. So if you have 3 girls on your first line, I just don't recommend having like a team page right then, because what you don't want is to only be duplicating information from your upline pages. So if all of your posts in your group are like copy paste, copy paste, copy paste of other people's content that are in your upline groups, don't do that. They don't need to see that 3 times in their newsfeed. They're already in those groups. They should be in their Crown Princess page. They should be, in those upline groups already. They may be in like Dawn's. So if all you're doing is copying and pasting information out of other people's groups into yours, don't have a group. It's just too early for that, and they don't need to see it, and it's duplicative. When it's time to create a group is when you have genuinely unique and valuable information to share with them that they are not going to get anywhere else. So I would get lots of training questions on how I do my Facebook parties. So the way for me to disseminate that to a lot of girls is going live on a video in my group and talking about how I do my Facebook parties. I'm a Crown Princess now. I think I started mine when I had about 10 people on my first line, and where I was really struggling was continually repeating things over and over and over again, and I couldn't remember who I told what, so I finally created a group so I could provide information to them in a timely fashion. But the only things I posted in that group were things that were unique to me. Like, hey, I found this resource I thought would be useful for you guys. I never copied and pasted things from other groups. I never told them what colors that were in stock. Like, all that stuff was coming from other groups. Now that I'm a Crown Princess, I do post those things because a lot of people rely on my page for a primary use of their information. But I just think that you should be mindful of when you should start a group. Starting it too early is going to be redundant and frustrating for the people who you've placed in that group. And starting it too late, you may miss some opportunities to really coach people with unique information and to form a connection with you. And then lastly, if you are going to have a team page and you are going to sponsor a team and you're going to do team incentives, I highly recommend incentives that drive business activity as opposed to incentives that rewards results. And I don't think that it's a bad thing necessarily to reward the highest PV, reward the highest sponsorships. But in addition to that, if you want people to participate in those who are new in their business, who are never going to be your top salesperson because that's just not who they are or what their business is like, I don't like to demotivate people by only rewarding top performance. And here's my thing, is if you award somebody for placing a 300 PV order, they are not going to go out and place a 300 PV order if they don't have that product sold and they don't feel like they can sell it, unless the price you're offering them is worth way more than the order would cost them. You know what I mean? Like, if I say, I'm going to give you this cute lips phone case for placing a 300 PV order before the 15th of the month, are they going to go out and place a $300 order that they haven't sold? Nope. So what I actually do and what I find to be effective in my team page is to incentivize order activities. Like, everybody take a selfie and post it on your personal page with a little lip sense blurb and drop it here in the comments, and everybody who does it has a chance to win this cute little lip phone case. And then a ton of people do it, and they're generating business. I go back and I think of the things that are best practices for me. I'm like, okay, today is a business engagement challenge. Post something totally not lip sense related into your group and ask for people's opinions on something relevant in your life. Like, I'm going on vacation this summer. I can't decide where to go. What are some of y'all's favorite vacation spots? So, and then they'll do that, and it drives engagement in their group. I did a video challenge where I challenged them to post a video on their personal page and take a screenshot of it. I don't know how many people responded back, I made a sale, I made a sale, I made a sale. So I think that it's really important to not show people how to place orders. It's important to show people how to sell. I think that that's probably the most important thing when you're looking at team incentives. And it never hurts to give the people who are top performers an extra pat on the back. But I shy away from that having the only incentives that are available to your team because, the people who are not those top performers, they tend to be the top performers every month. And it's like, oh, yay, they're doing another contest where Janie's going to win some Kendra Scott earrings. And I have nothing that I'm going to win because that's not where my business is. And I don't sell 15,000 PV in a month. I'll never sell 15,000 PV in a month. So try to focus on things that you know stimulate business for you, and then get your team involved, and a task can earn them a prize, not the result. Teach them how to sell. Don't teach them how to place orders. All right. Again, hope this is helpful for you. Again, disclaimer, this is all my opinion, and if you do it differently, that's okay too. Bye.